Hey everyone, it's Noah and welcome back to the channel. It's definitely been a while since I made a video. Recently in my business, I've been making a lot of changes, and since my channel is based around my business, I wanted to make sure everything was settled before making more videos. In the past few months, I've really been doubling down on buying inventory and sending it to Amazon FBA. I've stated this in the past, but it's more scalable and it allows me to control my business more because this way I'm buying product and I'm sending it into Amazon so I know exactly how many units I have. In this video, I want to go over a software called Wholesale Inspector and show you a little bit of a tutorial because it has helped me grow my business and has saved me a lot of time. As always, I don't recommend software on my channel that I am not using myself. Wholesale Inspector is a product file analyzer. You get a CSV sheet or you get an Excel sheet with all of the products and UPC codes and prices from your supplier. You upload it to Wholesale Inspector, it finds the listings on Amazon, and it tells you all of the data. They have a 5-day free trial, which allows you to go ahead and test out the software and see if it's right for you. With that said, let's go ahead and take a look at it and see how I use it in my business. The way that I use Wholesale Inspector is first, you need to get a file from your supplier. Once you go ahead and you get that file, you're then going to upload that file to Wholesale Inspector. So the way that you upload a file is you're going to go ahead and you're going to drag the file into this space. Then it's going to show up with all of the columns, and you just need to map the right columns so that this way Wholesale Inspector knows where the UPC code is, where the cost is, etc. So here you can see that it already mapped it for me. It goes ahead and it takes a look at the column and it sees what the name is. So UPC code is G, etc. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just make sure everything is correct. So you can go through, just make sure it matches. And then I'm going to press create. Then it's going to scan all of the listings and then it's going to go ahead and show me the data. As you can see, it just completed all of those listings within less than a minute. So that was 2,600 products in less than around 10 seconds. Once your file is done being scanned, you're going to go ahead and click View Products. That's going to open up this page. From here, you are going to go ahead and you can sort through all of the data and you can add filters. You can go ahead and select which columns you want to see. And this is going to help you filter through all of the products so that you can find the ones that are profitable and the ones that are worth looking at. So the first thing that I like to do is I like to open up the Filters tab. In the Filters tab, there's a couple of things that I do. First is I'm going to add a net revenue, or you can add an ROI. And the other thing that I like to add is the sellers as well as the sales rank. We're selling on Amazon, so sales rank is very important, especially if you're going to be buying in bulk. So the sales rank is going to be under the BSR. And from here, you can go ahead and you can add your filters. This is going to depend on the product that you're selling. So if you're selling toys, a sales rank of 200,000 is still going to be pretty good. However, if you're selling in a more niche category, then something that's 200,000 might not sell as well. So it is going to vary depending on what type of products you sell. The one that I always like to start out with is greater than or equals to 1. This way it's going to get rid of all of the listings that have a -1 or all of the listings that don't have a sales rank. And the next one I'm going to do is I'm going to do less than or equals to, and I start out at 500,000. I also drop ship. So again, it's going to depend on the type of products that you're selling as well as your business model. For FBA exclusively, I might set the limit at 200,000 and then I might work down from there. There are some good listings that you can find at higher sales ranks, and they might not sell as well. However, if you can go ahead and you can sell a couple of units every single month and you're the only seller, that's guaranteed profit. After I complete the BSR, I then go to the ROI. And then in the ROI, what I like to see is I like to see that it's greater than or equal to 20%. Everyone has a different ROI that they like to set. I do sell items that are pricier, so I like to go ahead and set at least a 20% ROI, and then I will look through the results from there. Another thing that I like to do is I also like to set a profit minimum. I don't always do this. However, sometimes I do this depending on the supplier because I don't really want to sell or I don't want to focus on items that are $2 and I'm only going to be making 20 cents. Once all of those filters are applied, you're then going to be left with the products that meet your criteria. So I started with 2,609 products and now I'm left with 14. Now within those 14, you can see that there are a lot of columns. There's a lot of data here that you can work through. A lot of these data points are going to be useful. However, a lot of these data points are not useful. So if you want to get rid of them, one thing that you can do is you can go to columns and you can turn off the columns that you don't want to see, and then those will disappear. Now let's take a look at a lot of the great data points that Wholesale Inspector shows you. What I like about Wholesale Inspector is it shows you a lot of data right here. So I also use Scan Unlimited. Scan Unlimited is great. It's extremely fast and it's extremely easy to use. However, it doesn't show you every data point that Wholesale Inspector shows. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at those data points so that you know what you're looking for. So the first thing that I look at when I'm looking at items is I always look at the image. That's going to allow me to know what the item is. And then from there, you can also go ahead and you can click right here. And this is going to show you the image as well as it's also going to show you a quick view at a lot of the information. So here we have the BSR, here we have our percentage of time profitable, etc., etc. So the thing that I'm looking for is I'm looking at the BSR. We have 32,000 right here. We have the dimensions, the weight, we have the size. Next, we have the percentage of time profitable in the last 30, 90, and all the way up to 180 days. So that is a good metric because it can show you if you were to go ahead and sell it at the price in that time period based on your cost, what percentage of the time would you be profitable? So we can see that we would be profitable 100% of the time. Now, that doesn't mean that we can automatically go ahead and sell it. We still need to dig into the listing, see how many other sellers are there, is it out of stock, or what's the reason that we would be so profitable. Underneath that, we have the percentage of time for our ROI. So here we have 80% in the last 30 days, and then in the last 180 days, it's still 45%, which is another good metric. Underneath that, you have a lot of information. So here you have the price in the last 30 days, the average price in the last 90 days, and here's the BSR. So as you can see, it's showing you a lot of data points that are extremely helpful that you would generally go ahead and you would use other software to see, but Wholesale Inspector shows you them all right here. Here we have the number of sales rank drops, as well as we have the lowest BSR, and we also have the average BSR over the duration of 30 days, 60 days, etc., etc. So this is, for all accounts and purposes, a very well-selling item. In the last 90 days, the sales rank has dropped 160 times. So usually that equates to a sale, which means that it's gotten 160 sales in the last 90 days. Based off the current price and our cost, we would be making around $10 per sale. So if we would have gotten all 160 of those sales, we would have made $1,600 in profit. After I look at a listing on here, another thing that you can take a look at is you can take a look at the competition. So the number of sellers, competitive sellers, as well as you can also add notes to a listing. So what I would do is I would go ahead and I would take this item. First, I would check the supplier's website to see if it's in stock. That's really important. And then I can go ahead and I can add a note saying it is in stock, it isn't in stock, it's coming back in stock, etc. And then from there, once everything on this item checks out, I can go ahead and I can star this item so that I can always come back to the ones that I have identified as potential ones that I want to look further into. All of this information is also available in the following columns. So you can see you have the buy box price, the average buy box price over the duration. Here you have the lowest FBA price, you have your profit, your ROI, your margin, everything. And then of course you have all of this data right here over your profitability over a percentage of time. And again, you can look at this data in multiple different ways, which is also very helpful. One other thing that I like to take a look at is it takes a look at the competitive sellers that are FBA and are in the buy box range. So you can see on this listing that we were looking at, it has a number of sellers, 3, however, only 2 of those are competitive. So we can see based off of how many competitive sellers, if we were to add ourselves, how many sales could we theoretically get? So this listing is getting an estimated 120 sales a month. It has 2 competitive sellers. If we jump on, that's 3, which means that we would be getting around 40 sales a month, or we would be doing around $1,400 a month in revenue and $426 in profit. So again, all of this information is just calculated for you directly inside of the software. Lastly, you can take a look at a lot of metrics for FBA, as well as just the Amazon warehouse and the fees associated. And then if everything checks out, you can also go ahead and you can add this to your Seller Central directly from Wholesale Inspector. I repeat this process for each of the other listing. I take a look at the image, make sure the listing matches, and then I go ahead and I quickly take a look at the data and I go through all of this. I take notes and I repeat this for all of the listings. After I repeat this process, I go through the listings that I've marked and I do further investigation and product research on the Amazon platform using software like Keepa as well as Ace and Zen. And I have a further video that shows how to use those softwares specifically. A couple of other features that Wholesale Inspector has is that you can schedule files. So if you want to go ahead and schedule files to go ahead and scan them at a future date, you can go that and do that here. You have file maps. So this is where all of the columns are mapped to, and it keeps that data. Here you have something called Storefront Spy. So you can just enter your competitor's storefront link and it will go ahead and it will analyze all of their listings. You have single product that you can look up. You have multi-packs. You have your block list if you want to block a certain brand. So there are a lot of different features that you can use Wholesale Inspector for. And I think it's a good competitor for Scan Limited for those who are looking for more data, as well as for those who are getting more into Amazon Wholesale FBA. So that's going to be it for this video. If you already use Wholesale Inspector or you use a different software, be sure to go ahead and let me know in the comments down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to go ahead and hit the thumbs up button. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.